Today's subject is slavery.
Race is invented. It's not real.
What?
It was invented by light-skinned people like you and me back in the 1450s and then defined beyond that. There is no basis in biology for any different kind of race. All of this stuff got created for dominance. It got created for control. Whiteness and blackness are invented.
Let me tell you something, folks. You can't fix stupid.
But this notion of race, specifically blackness, in America is dangerous and deadly and real. So it's synthetic plastic got invented by somebody that you can know who that is. But in reality, it has real shoes on the ground results that can result in harm or even in death.
Yeah, that isn't true.
Not only are you a hot dog, a grandstander, a showboat, and a prima donna, but you're a liar.
The ancient Egyptians had a very clear conception of racial difference. I think it was the Book of the Dead. So we're talking about millennia-old literature that described the differences between the races. There was a popular myth for a while that the ancient Greeks had no distinction between races. They just understood the foreigners, the barbarians, and the Greeks, but it was a linguistic difference. That's also not true. There was a good Princeton historian, maybe 10, 15 years ago, put out a book on this, that in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, there was a fairly robust conception of the difference between the races. It's been true forever because people look different and it's just obvious, okay? And so there are different ways that we understand the significance of racial difference, but the fact of racial difference is, no, we didn't just wake up in 1450, or usually when the libs make these arguments, they put it even later. They say it's like 18th or 19th century, and they'll say, no, our conception of race is very, very modern. You know, we didn't wake up one day a few hundred years ago and say, wait a second, that guy's skin's a lot darker than mine. That's weird. What's that about? That didn't happen. We've known about that forever because people have eyes. So that's how. Next one.
All cultures in history had slaves, so why do you focus on America? We get this a lot in the comments, and it's a little weird. American slavery was different. English slavery wasn't based necessarily on skin color. America has everything and only to do with the color of your skin. Slaves in England were encouraged by their masters to learn more jobs, to understand more, because it would make them more money. It was literally illegal for a slave to be taught anything, and you could go to jail for simply teaching them the alphabet. Just one of many, many, many differences not passed on to your kids in England or anywhere else. Your enslavement had to do with you. In America, because of the Pardis decision in 1662, slavery is about whoever is born from a black woman will perpetually always be slaves. American slavery wasn't the same. It was cruel, it was inhuman, it was terror, it was simply evil.
Notice the only two countries he's talking about are America and England. Notice he doesn't talk about any non-Anglo country or anywhere else in the world. Because the thing is, outside of the West right now, slavery is still practiced all over the world, and slavery was practiced in a much more robust fashion throughout all the rest of the world for all of history than it was ever in America. Throughout the indigenous peoples of the Americas, they all held slaves and committed human sacrifice and cannibalism, a lot of them. Africa, slavery was practiced and continues to be practiced today. North Africa, the Muslims in North Africa were infamous for capturing sailors and enslaving them. East Asia, there continues to be slavery today. So he doesn't talk about any of that. It's just you focus on the whitest of the Anglo people. But even in that case, he gets it wrong because the first arbitrarily declared slave for life in America was a black guy, that's true, but he was declared the slave of another black guy, a black Angolan, which was somewhat scandalous at the time, but then the court ruled that he could be an arbitrarily declared slave for life. So it's one of those little ironies of history that one could say the first slave owner in America actually was a black guy. But yeah, and then slavery changed, and slavery is rather than just a discrete single unit, actually represents a whole array of forms of servitude, which apply more or less neatly in different parts of the world. But I suppose you would say the thing that really distinguishes America, the Anglo, the Western practice of slavery, the only thing that differentiates it is that we ended it. And the other peoples did not. Okay, that's the show. I'm Michael Knowles. This is the Michael Knowles Show. See you tomorrow.
Alrighty, today, folks, we're going to do something fun. This is something I really get a kick out of. We are going to unbox some actual historical artifacts, pieces of history. This is from a company called Pieces of the Past.
This time, we're gonna get funky.
Okay, so let's jump in. This is like a very special box. This is the 2023 Keepsake Edition. Ooh. This is the face of a Tag Heuer watch. Re-representation of Pablo Picasso's Guernica, which is one of the most famous pieces of art of the 20th century, all about the Spanish Civil War and the horrific nature thereof. Very, very famous piece of modernist art.
Funky fresh.
And this one is Frida Kahlo. Not a big Frida Kahlo fan, but self-portrait of Frida and Diego Rivera. If you want to watch a movie about Frida Kahlo, then you can watch Salma Hayek in Frida. She is significantly prettier than the actual Frida Kahlo, but she's a Hollywood actress. Okay, that's cool. I like these like art trading cards. Okay, so we have Botticelli, The Birth of Venus, of course, super famous painting. It's like mid-Renaissance. Botticelli. And then Rembrandt, who I love. Rembrandt is awesome. So, Rembrandt, 1642, The Night Watch. Look at the use of light and shadow in Rembrandt. Super cool. Okay, so just understand that this is 1642, and this one is like 2 centuries earlier. Whoa. And you can see how art has progressed to kind of photorealism, almost, in Rembrandt. Rembrandt is awesome. Vincent van Gogh, The Sunflowers, 4th version, 1888. But that's cool. This one is an actual piece of something. Congratulations, you have received an authentic relic from the past. The front of this card features the following types of authentic and original relics: original newspapers, original handwritten letters, time period manuscripts, letters, and documents, handwritten words, books, and other relics. Pablo Picasso. Okay, so I'm still having trouble figuring out exactly what it is that I'm looking at here. No, they wouldn't cut up a Picasso. My guess is that this is a newspaper article about Picasso, probably, and it looks like they cut a piece of the picture about that. No one's gonna buy a Picasso and then chop it up. That'd be really a terrible crime against art. If you like Picasso, which I don't, so I guess you could do it. Here we go. Here's a couple more. Jean-Antoine Watteau, Italian comedian, 1720. Did not know that one.